What is LiDAR used for in cell phones? Even though LiDAR technology was first developed for commercial applications back in the 90s to deliver sets of data from a wide variety of sources, today we can even find the technology in our cell phones. The LiDAR then wasn't as advanced as what you'll find in Apple cell phones today, because it's evolved to meet consumer demands. LiDAR has lots of uses in the smartphone industry. The introduction of LiDAR sensors in Apple devices has helped improve the photo and video quality of iPhone cameras, especially at night. This is because the LiDAR is used to help tell the camera which objects need to be focused on, which the camera finds more difficult in low-light conditions. LiDAR is also used in smartphones for AR apps and uses. Augmented reality. With the growing popularity of augmented reality in cell phones, the world of LiDAR is growing at a correlated pace. Augmented reality works by overlaying digital information with the real world. Users can experience augmented reality by wearing a headset, but smartphones are making the technology even more accessible for your everyday AR. Using augmented reality in a smartphone makes it easier to experience the same benefits that an AR headset offers. Apple uses a LiDAR sensor in iPhone to enhance its augmented reality capabilities. They have long been an innovator in this technology, including in the creation of new augmented reality apps. While a decent traditional LiDAR sensor is generally on the larger size, the technology that Apple uses is very small, and fits in the small space around the camera. Apple opted to put an operational LiDAR sensor inside the camera module found in the iPhone 12 Pro. This decision greatly improves the AR capabilities of the mobile device. The LiDAR sensor in iPhone Pro models and iPad Pro allows its users to utilize the AR apps much more efficiently and create better maps of the room to add virtual objects. The Apple Arcade is expanding its library of AR games quickly, which is thanks to the development of the Apple LiDAR system. With the continual improvement of LiDAR and AR in Apple products, you can expect a lot more AR apps to soon be launched on the iOS platform. The LiDAR sensor in the iPhone 12 Pro's improved camera could change the way you use the camera. With better placement and occlusion, LiDAR will allow for new creative forms of AR apps. The LiDAR sensor in the iPhone is an incredibly powerful tool for creating accurate environment maps and 3D wireframes of rooms. The speed and accuracy that LiDAR can deliver will allow developers to produce even more realistic augmented reality applications faster. Its potential is so vast that the capabilities of the LiDAR sensor are virtually endless. Some even guess that Apple devices are going to replace AR headsets as they offer the same benefits. It will also pave a path for Apple's VR/AR headset, which you can use with the phone to enhance the AR capabilities of various apps. Measurements. Another use of LiDAR sensors in cell phones is that they can help people save time and effort by enabling a person to take measurements wherever they are. The iPhone can now be turned into a fairly precise measuring tape, and the camera's LiDAR scanner is capable of taking measurements of various objects from up to 5 meters away. The LiDAR system collects information from the outside and processes it with artificial intelligence. Cell phones that are equipped with LiDAR will be able to recognize objects of interest with much higher accuracy than previous models. Furthermore, LiDAR will make it possible for cell phones to calculate distances between objects with a much smaller margin of error. Apple introduced LiDAR scanning to its mobile phone lineup in 2020 with the launch of the iPhone 12 Pro. The addition of the LiDAR sensor allows the iPhone to quickly determine the distance traveled, and the distance between other objects, by sending pulsed light waves into its environment. The iPhone's LiDAR sensor is used in the Measure app to measure the height of a person. It's also useful when measuring objects around the home. Even though the Measure app can be used on nearly all iPhone models running iOS 12 and later, the app works best with the latest iPhones that have LiDAR sensors. To measure the size of objects, you just need to open the Measure app and position the phone in such a way that the object is captured within the screen. Once the phone processes that this is an object of interest, a line will appear from top to bottom and show details of the height. You can also take a picture of the object, so you can figure out its height. Taking better photos in the dark. Even though cell phones in general have gotten better at taking pictures in low-light conditions, a phone that utilizes a LiDAR system with its camera is leaps and bounds ahead. Using a combination of phase and contrast autofocus, it is able to recognize objects and distances in a much more precise manner than those without LiDAR systems. This is because a standard iPhone, like the iPhone 12, uses only a single camera for detecting depth. But the iPhone 12 Pro utilizes two cameras/sensors, i.e., a normal camera plus LiDAR sensor. You can clearly see the difference in the pictures with and without LiDAR, as these sensors significantly improve the quality of photos. The LiDAR works at sensing where objects in the picture are, and helps the camera focus on the objects that should be focused on. Compared to smartphones that don't use LiDAR, Apple's Pro iPhone models are able to capture more light and take a crisper picture. This feature allows iPhones to take better photos in dark situations. Besides improving the camera's sensitivity, the new LiDAR sensor helps the iPhone's exposure performance. Night portraits pose a big exposure problem. Since the foreground is brighter than the background, reducing the exposure would result in gray-gray fuzziness. The LiDAR sensor overcomes this problem by detecting the difference between the two. Apart from taking better photos in the dark, the LiDAR sensor in cell phones brings 3D scanning capabilities to our phones as well. LiDAR has become a part of the cell phone market, and it will likely stick around for a while. It serves some great purposes, like enhancing photo quality, running AR apps, and measuring the size of objects, without the need for a measuring tape.